Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Propagandacast straight from the Propaganda Ministry by me, your host, Imperial Dane. And today we're going to be having a 1 vs 1 on Semois in the daytime. Yes, indeed, night has been dispelled for now, and also get ready to lean back and enjoy, or at least sit not as closely glued to the screen. This is going to be a long one, of course. It also means straight off the bat, no sort of pause to introduct, no mid-game analysis, and of course I'll try to speed up things here and there, basically because otherwise I'll be using more than an hour to cast this, and for some reason that's not quite as fully enchanting. But nonetheless, I do believe this should be a very exciting game, a very tense game. And who shall be fighting? Well, in the southern corner, we are going to be seeing Sommergewitter, which sounds rather German for some reason, fighting though for the Americans, fighting for the US Army. Yes, indeed. 1st Infantry Division, huzzah, hurrah, and hooah. No, that would be the Marines. Opposing him shall be Zeroshift, yes indeed, no longer fighting for Reloaded after, I believe, the clan sort of fell apart due to some problems. Or that might have been some other clan, I'm not entirely sure. Nonetheless, here he is fighting for the 17th SS, Götz von Berlichingen, Panzergrenadier Division, the only Panzergrenadier Division in Normandy. Volksgrenadiers ready, in this case probably to represent the much more less trained troops, which was one of the major issues for the Panzergrenadier Division, the SS unit, is it didn't really get enough training before things happened off. And we are right off the bat seeing a Jeep start from Sommergewitter going in for disruption against the forces of the Panzergrenadier forces, and Jeep runs straight into the machine gun bunker. MG fire raking the poor little village Jeep, but it does dodge it, and a bike arrives, a BMW bike, not a Sundup, because apparently the Sundup could actually reverse, and clearly the BMW can't. And we are only seeing others a pretty good spread now arriving out for Sommergewitter, but again sort of opting to really do some harassment right near to the Wehrmacht player. Delay his capping, delay everything right there with the Jeep, and of course it can also afterwards provide fire support for the rifleman. Ever lovely. Volksgrenadiers ready, laying down some barbed wire here, quite interesting to sort of ensure this point can't as easily be harassed. Well, again, barbed wire against engineers, wire cutters and all that is no foolproof wall of steel. Although if it brings you any comfort, you could always imagine it, but it's not going to be so. Bike moving about here, right? Bit of fun here. Engineers coming under heavy fire, Volksgrenadiers charging at them. Jeep joining in. 30 caliber light. Browning firing at the Volksgrenadiers. Engineers taking heavy losses, being forced to retreat, and the Jeep itself is taking a few shots as well as the Volksgrenadiers, and now the bike joins in as well. But apparently decided to turn otherwise. Americans continuing up here in the west, trying to secure what they can here, of course, before venturing into the darkness of Semois. Wait, never mind, again, it's not night Semois, it's day Semois, so that means there's actually a sun, there's light, there's happiness. Well, not happiness when there's a war going on, except for those few who actually like it. The butterflies all scared off or shot for potential sabotage or spying against the Wehrmacht. Jeep being repaired swiftly, and that's only a nice move. More rifle on the way, I wager. While others are pushing against the forces of the Wehrmacht, what are we seeing? 2 Volksgrenadiers and a bike. MG on the way for Zeroshift.
The munition objective is ours. Take the capture.
And so far Zeroshift is doing alright. Although certainly the Jeep probably did cause him a bit of an issue right there in the beginning. Further fine continuing. Jeep once more rushes in for Uncle Sam. Smelling that crap bike, it wants to set it on fire. Turn it into a tricycle. Burned out, that is. Volksgrenadiers going down as they're fighting in the cemetery. Bike moves in to support the Volksgrenadiers fighting down. The piece where there's no cover. Volksgrenadiers pulling back. They're getting attacked from all sides. This is looking pretty bad for Zeroshift. Volksgrenadiers forced off the field. Grenades at the Volksgrenadiers. Oh dear, even does a bit of damage to the bike. A full retreat for the Wehrmacht. Right in the beginning, MG42 will have to try and hold the line desperately. Minor fighting up here. Pioneers trying to lay down barbed wire, but engineers, of course, sort of render that pointless. Trying to cut the wire, being under fire, but no, they managed to do so without being much harassed by the pioneers. Rifling getting stopped by MG fire. But of course, grenades for the rifle, of course, will mean much more firepower for the forces of Sommergewitter. Although now Zeroshift is getting snipers. Probably to sort of shoot them from afar, although of course the jeep should still be considered a bit of a threat in that case. Meanwhile, the bike tries to sub some harassment, which is a jolly good thing, you know. No reason to push it into the thick of the fighting, better to keep the flank secure. That's certainly one of the purposes of a bike or a jeep, and that's such a case. And sniper arrives, Volksgrenadiers, flamethrower pioneers. Keep taking a bit of a shooting. Rifleman hiding right here. Sommergewitter does seem a bit unsure what to do. Rifleman charging in, perhaps something to get off a grenade. Sniper opens up, grenade. Oh dear. And 4 Volksgrenadiers. Oh no, the inhumanity, and there's absolutely no medics to pick them up. That was brutal. Volksgrenadiers and flamethrower pioneers move forward. MG and sniper still providing support. Rather than getting suppressed, Volksgrenadiers are still taking quite the thrashing. And now the jeep, of course, sensing its opportunity, moves in after the sniper rifle, continuing to get sniped for MGs. And the jeep moves in, but this might be a bad... and yes, indeed, fire turns out to be a pretty bad thing for jeeps. And a Volksgrenadier team does go down. This is quite excessive on both sides. The jeep providing a bit of a bonfire, more grenades getting lobbed. Looks like the MG team does get out of there, but the fence does not survive. Americans seem to have been utterly stopped, themselves having taken quite some beating, some losses. They've been bled, but not quite as much as the Wehrmacht, as the 17th, who are now getting a second sniper. That's might be a bit too much, but then again, it could be what he needs to basically keep draining Sommergewitter of manpower. Perhaps he's also hoping to basically lure him into getting a counter sniper. That's of course keeping things away from, say, something like a M8 a bit further off. Mines going down though for Sommergewitter at different choke points. This is good, this is lovely, this is what we like to see. Barbed wire up the top there to protect against any harassment there, except of course it's pioneers. And the bike is on the prowl, it's on the hunt. Will it get the rifleman, or will Forrest Gump make it back? Looks like it. No, he didn't! Unlike the movie, the bike actually got it, and then the bike itself went down. The spare parts went a bit farther than the bike itself. But engineers moving up, doing a bit of harassment. Good to see. Reaction force to sort of deal with that. Skirmish phase on the way. Heavy losses on, well, pretty much both sides. But they are both also keeping an up. Supply are now going up. We're also seeing a tree ascent, of course. And that's certainly not a bad idea. Certainly gives the most out of your troops. Makes them... can't keep them fighting longer, of course, since they will be healed, and that's of course, you know, at full health. So not a bad idea. Also might be a reason why why you want to get veterans. You want for your Wehrmacht infantry, of course, so they can be healed, and of course also be closer to full strength at all times. But I don't think that's Zeroshift's major priority at the moment. That might be something more along the lines of getting a Pack 38 to meet the Yankee armored foe head on. Or at least from the sides, or at least, you know, from the shadows. Cloaked with that giant gun. Well, technically it wasn't quite as giant as, for example, some of the other anti-tank guns the Germans had. The biggest one they had actually was the gun the Jagdtiger had. That is a 12 centimeter, close to 13 actually, centimeter anti-tank gun. Absolutely huge, and also not very easy to tow around. But floating a bit of resources here, Zeroshift. Is it perhaps because you want to save resources for that Kriegbags? I'm not entirely convinced that's going to be the best idea. No doctrinal choice. Actually, he's gone blitzkrieg. He's getting Stormtroopers, Stoßtruppen. Grenades at the cafe. I'm not sure they will like that. And dual medic packs for the snipers. That's also one way to keep them at full health. Rather than sneaking up there and running into heavy sniper fire. 2 men down. And then the MG-42 doing the rest of the work. American forces under Sommergewitter and the 1st Infantry Division, though, securing most of the map so far. And the MG could... oh dear, he has to get it out there quickly. It looks like the gunner does make a successful escape. But nice aggression, though, from Sommergewitter. Nice mining, which certainly probably did some damage there. Might be an idea to also sort of, you know, try to mine the city proper, and he's actually trying to mine the entrance right there, but of course immediately comes under fire. Stormtroopers now arrive, the more veteran SS Panzergrenadiers, although they could also be from some of the troops that actually attached to the division. Apparently the 17th by Normandy had actually gotten Panzergrenadiers, or more specifically Panzergrenadiers from some reconnaissance battalions from the 9th and 10th attached. Quite interesting. And there we go. Minesweeper though has spotted it. Of course, good move. Riflemen taking heavy losses. Stormtroopers hanging back. Lazy stormtroopers. Come on, men. You're stormtroopers, not Fultz Grenadiers. Forwards.
Sniper ready to engage.
But sweeping the mines. M8 probably soon on the way. Not too soon. Zeroshift is getting the Pack 38. Laying down mines himself. No Panzers for his stormtroopers. Although still not a lot of infantry. He's probably hoping for the snipers to basically make up for that. There we go, first Greyhound ready. And it's actually time to have a look at Sommergewitter. I believe it might also be an idea to sort of speed things up a bit. Engineers being run off by the Fultz Grenadiers in the south. Lovely, lovely. And the M8 rushes in with armored skirts, of course. Pioneers with flamethrowers. They're going to have a bit of a problem. And why is Zeroshift not retreating? There we go.
The Huns are taking our territory.
Of course, there's going to be a bit of a lack of a response to this. Pack 38 moving up. Oh, be careful, there's a mine, Mr. Gray. Oh, dear, destroyed engine. That is less good, that is less spectacular. He's actually hoping to lay down a sort of suicide charge, essentially a Greyhound mine. But now the Pack 38 is moving in. Stormtroopers hiding in the building, essentially allowing the Pack 38 to fire away. If it can hit. There we go. Main gun destroyed. Second shot misses. And there we go. Pack 38 sometimes have an absolutely ridiculous accuracy against M8s. I mean, just look at it. He keeps missing. And they're finally getting a hit. Finally, the apple schnapps is wearing off. Rifleman getting snap grenade at the stormtroopers. Bit of damage in there. Snipers keep firing, Riflemen keep advancing. Fultz Grenadiers is also trying to save the situation. Rifleman team pushed off. Other one continues though, heroically for Uncle Sam. But then decides that Uncle Sam can wait till another day. So a bit of action there. Pack 38 did a bit of good, although it would have been better if it could actually hit something. Infantry has gone up, of course, for Sommergewitter. We could have noticed that when his infantry began laying down mines, getting BARs actually, and getting some rangers to lead the way. Perhaps lead him into something a lot less filled with corpses. Kampfkraftcenter going up for Zeroshift. He already has Kriegbags. Of course, he might be home for some veterancy for his infantry. That is not a bad idea. Not at all. Stormtroopers so far not really joining much of the fight though.
We're back in full fighting strength. We got a full combat load. Squad.
Fultz Grenadiers setting up positions in the church. Not entirely sure why that's done. They won't really get much out of it because again the windows aren't really suited for mainline infantry. It's more for, you know, MGs, Panzerschrecks or bazookas or something like that, or, you know, a priest. In which case, of course, this building might also be suited.
Listen up, Rangers.
Americans pushing up the western flank. Sommergewitter being a bit careful. At the same time, though, Zeroshift getting a Panzergrenadier for Stormtroopers also pushing on. Though we could do with more infantry. Though again, veterans infantry would also do him quite lovely. Laying down mines, but of course, mines was moving forwards. Moving forwards on several flanks might be an idea again to sort of try and move through here as well. Try to extend the German defender a bit too much. Instead of allowing him to focus all his defenses in one place. But there we go, Stormtroopers desperately holding the line, but they cannot. And they run.
Opposition B is in. Troops
An
can
utter disgrace. Oh, sniper fire and a mine. Oh dear, heavy losses with these riflemen. But the Rangers and the riflemen continue, and the snipers decide they've got better places to be. Places where they won't get shot at. And we are in fact now seeing assault going on from the Fultz Grenadiers. Quite interesting, quite interesting. He's of course going to do some damage to all of these forces lumped up. There's some times where it doesn't quite work, and there we go. Forces take heavy losses. much too heavy losses. So that's 50 munitions down the drain, I fear. MG42 moves up though, that is good to see. No further vehicles though for Sommergewitter. No further greyhounds. Perhaps having felt they let him down. So a bit of fighting, it's sort of a bit on and off at the moment. Pioneers doing a bit of harassment. Rangers on the hunt, getting the Thompson submachine gun. And what are these Pioneers doing here? Probably setting up a forward observation post. Fancy that, not very often you see that right there. Usually most players do tend to try and go for an observation post right there, but of course, if Zeroshift doesn't quite feel he can protect that point, of course there's no point in doing so. And the Pioneers cut through the wire. Lovely, lovely. German advance once more, Stormtroopers leading the way. Not much else to really do so. Although now the force gunners are moving up, might be an idea to get an MP40 for them.
Ready for the crowd.
All a bit quiet, and there we go, an anti-tank gun moving up, now expecting German Kraut armour, Sturmarmerie up, so of course that could be the case. Probably is. As he goes for the Nebelwerfer. And he's actually wiring off this area so the American commander can't just run up and react to it. Sneaky, sneaky. Had he been really wanted to be sneaky, he would also have wired off this area, but then again, the Pioneers wouldn't have anywhere to escape. But of course, it can also end up working against them if the Americans then move up here and basically force them to run through there. In which case, the Pioneers might not make it. And riflemen hiding up behind some old wooden cart. Volksgrenadiers, Pioneers moving in. More riflemen moving in from the flank though. Snipers moving in. More Pioneers. MG42 providing support as well. And immediately the snipers have run off. Riflemen and engineers are running into heavy MG fire. Could be seeing a grenade from Sommergewitter. No. Not there at least. And now the Rangers are flanking in. Clever that, thus once more forcing Zeroshift off the main battlefield. At the same time, some Pioneers, or Engineers force off the Pioneers. Not looking too good. Oh, there we go. Armoured car ready. Perhaps to turn the tide. Perhaps force those damn armies. And again, more infantry might also be helped. And some stormtroopers moving about with dual Panzergrenadiers. He's really expecting some sort of armor business right there. And a bundle grenade against the Rangers. Oh, heavy losses, heavy losses. This could in fact be the end of the Rangers and their Thompson submachine gun. Panzergrenadiers flying, blasting apart the cemetery, but somehow the Rangers make it out of there. Hurrah!
Point is ours. What day we lock it down?
We're losing ground out there.
Rather than advancing, stormtroopers quickly securing the central area. Snipers moving up. That is good to see. That is very good. And the Pioneers are sort of cautiously moving up. And again, trying to re-secure. Not again really looking too good for Zeroshift at the moment. Not a lot, but he is able to sort of drain the manpower out of Sommergewitter, who is now going for the tank depot.
The enemy is down to 300
Might be getting some tanks, or he might be going for what most Americans do go for, tank destroyers, and sort of imagining, well, that's a tank, it's got tank in its name. Ergo, it can only be a tank, and not say, you know, let's just ignore that tank destroyer bit in it. Armor car quickly repaired, no veterancy for that, though, would be a good idea. Artillery now being prepared to support the American advance. While some poor lonely Volksgrenadiers are being sent into the den of the lion.
Orders. Clear.
Quite interestingly, the American Rangers so far have not yet managed one kill, but they have taken quite some heavy losses.
Time to kill some crowd.
Which was a fate shared by some Rangers during the Anzio landings, where they had somehow managed to infiltrate them in between a large German force, which ended up with the Americans taking some pretty heavy losses and almost being wiped out. They're not being folded up with some special force of American and Canadian troops. Artillery against the church, though. Volksgrenadiers need to get out of there. The House of God protects nothing against American munitions. Rangers and riflemen moving empty. Oh, heavy losses for the Volksgrenadiers, forced to run past all of this now. Fired up Rangers, MG42 could be flanked. Where are the armored cars? There we go. Sturmgeschütz moving in as well. And we could be seeing a Sherman here from, or a tank destroyer from that tank depot. And let's go back to Zeroshift. Armored car blazing, Sturmgeschütz. Pioneers ready to provide repairs. That is lovely. And then things sort of seem to slow down again. Riflemen moving up, could be getting off a sticky bombs. Pioneers quickly salvaging munitions out of that armored car. Oh my goodness, Stormtrooper sneaking in, bundle grenade, doing heavy losses to the riflemen. Anti-tank, I'm pulling up, they're forcing away the German armor and armored cars. Pioneers are just hanging about there. A bit of fighting, a bit of skirmishing. Pioneer engineers hiding up there, and now with a double layer of barbed wire. Because apparently that'll help, because, you know, the Pioneers won't just, you know, cut through the next line of barbed wire. They will be most deeply impressed and realize this is not a place where to go. He has several lines of barbed wire. More sniper fire, though, and looks like a naval rev has been pulled into support. Veterancy for that as well. Stormtroopers could be held with a bit of reinforcement. Anti-tank gun pretty much survives all of it, although a bazooka has been left behind. If a plucky Volksgrenadiers could secure that, that could certainly help. The bazooka sort of being the primary sort of, well, initial really sort of rocket launcher in the war. The Germans basically captured it and they sort of realized we could do that better, and they did. The bazooka wasn't really that effective, it could only penetrate up to 60mm of armor. The Panzergrenadiers about, I believe, it was 200mm or 180mm. Stug moving about. And there we go, a Sherman out for Sommergewitter. And pack fire immediately right into the flanks. That's less than great. Volksgrenadiers moving forwards once more for the fatherland. Honor, glory, sauerkraut. And we are sort of at a standoff situation. But currently with Sommergewitter holding the edge, Volksgrenadiers for some reason decide to charge right at the Sherman. And a mine goes off as well. Oh dear, Zeroshift. And a bit of nebula of a fire, further desecrating the cemetery, which is clearly not in a very good condition. A bit of mining at the flanks. And some counter-flanking by Sommergewitter's riflemen. Mine, there we go. One down. That was only one. That was mine. No, could have done better, I think. More stormtroopers are arriving, though. Assault rifles on the way for these plucky troops. A few command points being floated. Could be getting the Stu 42. Remember, points after, I believe, 3 command points actually sort of take longer to accumulate. So be sure to spend them, if possible. In particular, now when it is sort of just midway towards another point, like say Tigers.
We have our heavy snipers ready. Safety's off. Sturmtruppen here.
And a bit of quiet again. Let us speed things up again. Storms with cloaking, getting more assault rifles. Armor car on the flank. Catching some poor unfortunate rifleman out in the open with its auto cannon, doing quite a bit of damage actually. Stormtroopers moving through the remainders of the cemetery for broken crosses, broken gravestones, possibly even broken promises. Nebula fight going through it all. No stormtroopers though with Panzergrenadiers to aid. That could have been nice, or sort of, you know, support attack. Sherman does take a bit of damage from the Nebula. Stug moves in. Bunker up, actually quite interesting from Zeroshift. Whatever shall happen, whatever shall happen. More veterancy for the infantry. Good, good. And there we go, stormtroopers appearing out of nowhere, clearing out the crew in seconds, but running into riflemen who are swift to gun down one of them. In fact, two of them, and the Sherman. Oh dear. That was 375 munitions and 150 munitions gone in seconds, and he'd barely had it on the field. And now the Stug actually moves in on its own without support. Or at least the support is much, much too late. Clearly not the most well executed assault. Stug down. Pioneers now moving in, but again, probably should have done so earlier, perhaps with those other stormtroopers with the dual Panzergrenadiers to provide some support. And of course, everything ought to have been a bit better coordinated. In this case, though, things really went tits off for Zeroshift as he tried to do some damage. Instead, he ended up with a knocked out Stug, a completely evaporated stormtrooper team.
What are your orders?
The 22 though is up for the infantry, but again he's looking in a slightly problematic situation. Rangers moving in.
They need deployment location.
And Volksgrenadiers are not really in a great condition to resist. And Storms will now arrive with dual Panzergrenadiers homing to knock out that Sherman, but it might be a bit too late. Volksgrenadiers are quickly pushed off by those Rangers with the submachine guns. Again, Zeroshift needs something. He needs some units on the field, perhaps another Stug. Armored car, not really built to resist German fire. Might not actually make it out of their life. Fresh storms are now rhyming. Will there be more assault rifles? And again, all quiet. A few shots from the pack. Sherman getting out of there. Not a high octane game, that's for sure. Sniper shot in for a bit of fun. More artillery. House in the American base. Quite the problem. Bit of sandbags nearby, actually. Interestingly enough. And right here at the sort of cross points where units actually had to enter this side of the map. Could be an idea though. If Mr. Zeroshift was a bit better sort of shifting direction of his assault, he does seem to be a bit too keen on basically moving down that central road. Assault grenades though do quite a bit of damage to the riflemen, stunning, wounding, killing. And another armored car. In the meanwhile, Volksgrenadiers gets stopped by a single mine. And he's... Why is he laying down tank traps down there? I mean, I suppose something could happen. He's probably hoping to sort of protect his howitzer against a direct assault. Which is not uncommon, but... so far I don't really think that's within Zeroshift's capabilities. Observation post up, which is neat to note. Supplied upgrades, good. No medic stations though, and no medic bunkers though from either side. But still, trio center. Supplied upgrades, that's certainly close enough. And of course, veterancy for the infantry. Armor car arrives, but still no veterancy for that. He might want to consider, you know, because it actually makes it a bit tougher. And thus allows it to absorb a bit more fire. Anti-tank gun moving forwards. Sherman being repaired. Veterancy 1 up though. And more howitzer fire. And the armored car's right in the middle of it. Repair bunker. Bit of quiet. Whatever shall happen here. Sherman moving forward. Storms are being pushed away. Others are basically hiding down here. Probably with hold fire orders. Waiting to unleash their Panzergrenadier trap. Still, again, floating a bit of resources. That seemed to be a bit of a nasty habit for Zeroshift. Floating manpower. Try to avoid that, or at least, you know, build something like a medic bunker. Could be nice. More naval river fire. And we are now seeing tank destroyers coming out for Sommergewitter. But there's not a lot of armor on Zeroshift's behalf, which is a bit saddening. Oh, now bloody well getting a Sturmgeschütz. Oh shit! Never mind that. Apparently my keyboard sort of got messed up a bit. Happens. Though I do not like it when it happens. Slight skirmishing at all angles. Assault being used again to sort of stop the rifleman from advancing, make it a bit harder. Stunned, yes indeed. Not quite wounded though. Volkswagen is doing what they can, but they can't quite seem to do it. There we go, the more grenades, and the riflemen all clumped up now, taking heavy losses. Well, at least heavy damage. More armor moving in, more tank destroyers, more everything. Stug moving forwards. This area is simply getting hammered with artillery. Wait a minute. Oh dear, he's lost the snipers. He probably lost the snipers to the artillery. Oh, poor Zeroshift. That was quite vicious. Ricardo doing what he can against those Rangers. And Volkswagen is pushing up through the left and salient. Only to be run off by some riflemen though. And looks like Zeroshift will be trying to push an assault. Stormtroopers still hiding, still very patiently ready to spring the trap. Packs moving up, Sturmgeschütz. Repair bunker ready. More assault guns perhaps on the way. More artillery, and again, basically just firing around here. Basically firing on the path that the armor forces need to take to basically set up an assault in this area. This sort of start area, I suppose you'd call it, for any attack. And immediately the pack begins opening up on the Sherman. Sherman does quickly get out of there. And then runs into the Stormtroopers. Oh dear, this could be the end. And this, of course, is able to keep the Stormtroopers on the back foot. Oh, it misses just bit. Oh, one gets crushed, another gets crushed. Veterancy too. Oh dear, it was so close, but the Sherman managed it, gaining veterancy 2 in the process. Pack though sneaks up and gets the kill. It gets the kill. Sherman brewed up, kaput. Paper Panzer has been depanzered. And yes, this is a slightly more quiet game in that sense, which of course is also partly why it's a bit longer, though again, things should pick up, and again, it's sort of the only game I didn't have which wasn't a bit too one-sided, I felt. Quite nice assault moving in there. Volkswagen's in a lot of trouble again. And a grenade does quite a bit of damage to these Stormtroopers, rather than forcing the rest off. Artillery flying right here at the Sturmgeschütz, and the armor cast veterancy 2 now for the assault guns, which is quite nice. Gives them machine guns, which is actually quite nice against infantry. Armor car advances again. No veterancy for the armor cast. Even veterancy 1 would be a nice thing. Tank destroyers moving in. This could prove to be a bit more of a problem. And a Stug does get knocked out. Less than fortunate for the 17th SS. And a fresh Sherman coming out for Sommergewitter. But the armored collies did make it out there, and once more Pioneers trying to do a bit of flanking down there, and harassment are quickly stopped by riflemen with BARs. Quite unfortunate. And tank traps here. He's basically hoping, and that's certainly not a bad idea, to funnel all of Zeroshift's armor into this area, and by tank trapping off these areas you can essentially make that happen. Although he might also want to ensure basically this area is also tank trapped. Otherwise he might not gain quite as much from it, but then again it's probably not very likely that he will be trying to go straight for the American base. But of course, if he did so, he might want to do it with a Puma and try to knock out that howitzer. Pioneers are run off. Sherman does a bit of damage. Come on, Stormtroopers. The Vaterland depends on you and your Panzerschrecks. Might be, of course, they're hoping to basically spring a trap again. Tank destroyers nicely parked here, but without protection, without supervision. Could the nasty stormtroopers get them? Could their Panzer tanks? No, never mind. Mine. What could it be? Never mind. They continue. Stormtroopers, veteran soldiers, advance, brushing off the mine damage, and advances against the tank destroyer still parked. Volkswagen is moving up. Oh dear, oh dear. And there we go. One vicious volley. Main gun destroyed. Tank destroyers in a bit of a panic, perhaps hoping to crush the stormtroopers. One out of control. Second one in trouble as small Panzergrenadier fire shatters the thin armor, and M10s did not have thick armor. There we go. Second M10 bites the dust. Nebula fire hits the anti-tank artillery fire moving in on the position of the stormtroopers. The 17th SS needs to get its Panzergrenadiers out of there. Minor fighting here. Armored car versus rifleman. Fresh mine from Zeroshift. Good to see. Rifleman Rangers moving up. Flamethrowers. All of this combined makes quite the lovely assault party. Moving through the shattered and desecrated cemetery. Volkswagen is caught out in the open. Stooks firing in support. Armored car moves up. And a Tiger. Panzerlehr has provided with a Tiger from its company of Tigers, which it had been equipped with before being sent into Normandy. And artillery fire right there, hoping to sort of split up the armored force. Quite nice there. Rangers and riflemen, though, on the run, surviving the high explosive shells. Well, the ones that survived the first one survives the rest. And a Goliath, he has to be careful. Don't move it into the artillery fire right next to a Tiger. Oh, that would have been horrible. Goliath going off and damaging the Tiger. That would have been very, very hilarious, but also tragic. Engineers quickly securing the central victory point for Uncle Sam. Sherman still there. Sort of. More tank destroyers on the way to replace the ones absolutely blasted to bits. And once more the stormtroopers are moving in. Once more hoping to pull off the same trick. Instead they do run into some riflemen. Cloak, but that doesn't quite work. Although there are 8 stormtroopers in with Panzergrenadiers, they can still do some damage. And there we go. One rifleman gets sent flying through the air. Grenade. Oh, yeah, right at the stormtroopers. One down. Veterancy 2 for the rifleman. Panzergrenadier gets one. And there we go. One of the stormtrooper teams is forced off the field. How will the other stormtroopers fare against the 2 riflemen? At the same time, more artillery against here. Tiger not taking any damage. And the riflemen, after assistance from the armored car, end up getting blown to bits. And there we go, tank traps there again. Thus funneling all of it into here, more or less. And as of course, he decides to be a bit of a naughty person and charge it through here. Otherwise, through here. And of course, that allows Sommergewitter to basically focus all of his armor here. And again, that's not a bad strategy in a sense. At the same time, you know, don't clump them at the same time, but you know, when they can all sort of focus at one point, like say here, you know, you can get a lot more out of it. Perhaps, you know, one here, perhaps one there. Of course, ensure they are protected. Stug moving in. Veterancy 3 gives armored skirts. Although, funny thing is, these armored skirts are actually intended to sort of fend off anti-tank rifles. There was a bit of debate on if they actually helped against bazookas and such. There was a later variant, which was basically sort of a wire mesh, which apparently did that. There we go. Anti-tank gun firing away at the Stug. And of course, Veterancy 3 for the Tiger actually makes it harder to penetrate its armor. Stug, though, surviving some shots. Tiger gets off a few more kills. More artillery fire. And less than 100 points for Zeroshift. In fact, let's go look at him. What is the situation? Still a bit more infantry than some time ago. And small fighting here between Volkswagen and riflemen. Assault grenades getting exchanged. But the Volkswagen simply cannot win this fight. They're getting pummeled. Oh, wait, will the stun grenade save them the day? One rifleman down again. Things looking a bit more equal. But looks like they finally run out of grenades. Oh, wait, there we go. Down to 2 men each. And then the final storm force going to get sent off. More tank destroyers howitzers ready to fire again. Veteran C2 going to fire even faster now. And a Pioneer gets ambushed by a tank. That was less spectacular. Floating resources again. Zeroshift, be careful, but now we go. Stormtroopers, dual assault rifles. Lovely, lovely. And some Pioneers in the south. Has to be careful around the anti-tank. I'm probably firing armor-piercing rounds. Mine going off down there. Yes, there we go. Lovely. Heavy losses damage to the rifleman. And a mad dash by the American commander. Goliath goes off, actually, I think. Doing a bit of damage to the German. Not enough. Panzergrenadiers knock out the first tank destroyer. And they keep at it. They keep at it. The Tiger could be going out. Artillery against it. Stug and armored car firing. Main gun destroyed. Another tank destroyed. Down. Heavy losses to the stormtroopers. And the final tank destroyer goes down. But that was very close to ending. Ended up very badly for the Tiger. Instead ended up with 3 absolutely wrecked tank destroyers for Sommergewitter. Although the Tiger tank will be out of commission for some time. It's going to have to be repaired. Grenades getting lobbed. Bazookas getting left behind. Again, those Rangers do seem to be needing one of those things, you know, kids have for the mittens, just the bazookas. And Sherman going down to Panzergrenadier fire. Absolute madness. Storms do finally get sent off. And Veteran T2 for this anti-tank gun. But for how long will it last before the crew burns alive? Cooked like a goose. Americans, though, are pushing onwards, do harassing continually, and again, Tiger in dire need of repairs. A bit of quiet once more. Let's speed this up a bit. Troops getting reinforced. Veterans free on the way for infantry. Jolly good, but slight problem for Sommergewitter. Of course, at the moment he's been taking quite some losses, and he needs to quickly replace them again. Lack of medic bunker, not quite what he wants. Artillery once more here. Sort of again make it hard and perhaps, you know, catch some troops as they're trying to advance again into all of this sort of area. Cutting wire once more. Tank destroyers moving in swiftly, and these Volkskriegs might be sent off. Looks like the anti-tank gun actually make it back. And got reinforced and got healed up. This could actually prove to be a problem for the Germans. He's quite keen on firing on this area, but of course also note how quickly it is happening. And again, that's what Veterans does for all map artillery, amongst other things in some cases, but exclusively the hard, so it makes it fire faster. It basically means it takes less time between the barrages. More storms are now arriving, apparently just calling in everything he has to save the day for Zeroshift. And looks like someone died a horrible death somewhere, somehow. And looks like Stormtroopers are hoping to repeat the success they had with the tank destroyers. And there we go again. Ambush, and the first tank destroyer bites the dust again. Absolutely no infantry support, no protection, no security. By this time, the Stormtroopers utterly botch it up. So less spectacular. More Stormtroopers with assault rifles arriving. And looks like the Tiger's finally ready. 53 points, victory points left for Zeroshift. Still medic station or medic bank up for either side.
We have only 50 points in reserve.
Rangers being pushed off. And once more the anti-tank gun runs into a problem with those naval Werfers. Plus the Veteran C3 Tiger. Storms advancing, tearing through the riflemen with the assault rifles like they were butter. And now the anti-tank gun is exposed. This could mean the loss of the veteran anti-tank gun. Yes, indeed. Basically just running past it. The crew is slaughtered. And looks like the church is actually taking quite some damage. The entire church steeple is gone. I believe it's called the steeple. Storm's reinforcing once more, I hope at least. Or it could be they're not, because he doesn't have the population for it. And there we go. Zeroshift made a bit of a mistake. He sent in the Tiger on its own. Could have ended up badly for it. Quickly pulling back. Storms is ready to provide support. First guys moving up. Points being retaken. 38 points left. Grenades going off. Another tank destroyer. Looks like there's no off-map combat group for Zeroshift though. Seems a bit odd. And the anti-tank gun is currently in the process of getting wrecked by the Wehrmacht. Several Germans right next to each other. Quite interesting. Would have been a nice move for Zeroshift to actually salvage them, perhaps use the missions for blitzkrieg or manpower blitz. And the tank gun sadly got knocked out. And there we go, another assault. 3 tank destroyers, lots of riflemen, rangers. This is the push. Stug heroically holding the line on its own. Will there be blitzkrieg? No, there will be Nebelwerfer. And an officer has arrived. Zeroshift has actually gone for an officer, of all the things. That's quite surprising. But Storms is moving up. He of course could be hoping to use its propaganda abilities to force things off. Artillery getting called in on the Stugs. Officer forced to run for all of this. Stug in a lot of trouble though. 1 tank destroyed down. Popping in the stormtroopers in the bunker, basically allowing them to fire there in safety without getting crashed. Excellent choice, excellent move. MG upgrade on the way. Rangers and riflemen advancing, hoping to knock it out, but Tiger arrives. 21 kills to its name for the fatherland and all that. And further losses being done to the Americans.
They're losing territory.
Oh, the horror. Tiger advances through the smoke and dust and blood. Sending rifleman team running, and there we go, MG bunker up. Engineers end up getting pushed off right there. Quite the fight for the 17th. And of course the 1st Infantry Division, although it looks like Zeroshift might be turning things around. Those tank destroyers simply evaporating too fast, and interesting enough, he's been floating a lot of points. He's not getting the off-map combat group. He might though be doing that basically because he feels he doesn't need it, and by keeping it like this he'll actually be able to see the XP things going up, and thus he can also see if he's actually killing anything. And that's actually apparently what some players do, because they actually want to have a better idea. And of course if you have fully up you don't see those things, and then it can also be a bit harder to sort of gauge if your opponent is actually suffering any losses. Amongst the infantry. And a stormtrooper ambush. Springing the trap with a bundle grenade. And the assault rifles tearing through the unfortunate rifleman. And looks like a rifleman team went down in its entirety. It might have been another one in fact. Very little infantry now left for Zeroshift. But also been Sommergewitter, but also very little victory points left for Zeroshift. So of course if he keeps pushing on he might be able to still turn things around. But again, a medic station might early on might also have helped him. And let's speed things up a bit again. Stormtroopers trying to hold it out in the remains of the marketplace. M10s advancing, Panzergrenadiers flying, trying to crush as many stormtroopers beneath their mighty treads, but they run, they run. And Oberst Gottlieb arrives, Lieutenant Gottlieb, not Oberst, arrives. Whatever shall he hope to do? Except getting shot at by the M10s and almost killed. He does manage to send the Rangers running, but not before the M10s get him. He died like a hero for the fatherland, although I'm sure he would have preferred to have lived. And once more the Tiger gets pushed into action against the 2 vicious tank destroyers. And the church collapses with stormtroopers in them. Oh dear. And looks like most of the town has been absolutely devastated. Or desecrated, whatever you prefer. It's M10 bites of dust. Sticky bomb on the Tiger, but it survives.
Check your ammo. Clear your sight.
And getting more tank destroyers again. I'm not entirely sure why he's so insistent on getting just tank destroyers at this stage.
We got a full combat load.
But hoping to do a bit of harassment, it looks like.
The Huns are taking our territory.
105 battery here.
And once more speeding things up a bit.
That should get you back in the war.
Running into a whole plethora of stormtroopers arrive now, suddenly finding themselves ambushed and sent off with heavy losses. A bit of harassment going on here. Actually laying down barbed wire around this area. There's actually quite a bit of barbed wire for Sommergewitter. That's quite interesting to note. He's really doing his best to sort of protect the flanks and of course again force him in here. But sadly it does look like he wasn't actually prepared to sort of receive him here. The Tiger and such made things a bit too difficult. And now it is Sommergewitter who's in his base trying to break through. Or break out to be more specific.
Saddle up, Rangers. The sector is ours. Let's get in there.
And again several tank destroyers getting made ready. I would say a few platoons of them might actually have been knocked out by now.
Krauts are grabbing our territory.
Going for the cutoff point. Good, good. Nice aggression from Zeroshift. But looks like the medic machine gun bunker is actually getting flanked by... oh, demo charges. He's actually gone for demo charges. Ever lovely to see. And running into a Tiger. 3 down with 1 high explosive round. And there we go. Machine gun bunker gets sorted out. Tank destroyers rushing in. And once more a volley of Panzer strikes. Absolutely amazing to see that. It's a spectacular sight, certainly. Although again, not always hit. Of course, when they do charge right at them, of course, there's a much higher probability of actually hitting. And looks like once more the tank destroyers got absolutely shattered by the stormtroopers' iron determination and of course their anti-tank weapons. Central victory point has been secured, though once more the victory points are draining for Zeroshift. Things are once more against him. Nebel-verified Tiger and Pioneers. Pioneers trying to get it are killed. And for some reason these stormtroopers are absolutely pinned right down here at the front of the base. Might have been forgotten by Zeroshift. That is less good. Engineer's going for the other victory point. He's basically now realized he can't do anything but basically drain him of victory points. He has to hold them then. Except he's getting more tank destroyers. Of course, with the artillery, he can essentially hope to sort of deny them the victory points, at least temporarily, and of course ensure they remain his. So that might actually be his plan.
105 ready.
Which is, I suppose, a not entirely bad one. Single Pioneer running towards that victory point. And all 3 victory points have been rendered neutral. 18. Oh dear. But managed to secure this. No fact, and not all 3 victory points are neutral. Dear, then one is American again. Down to 15. 14. Now you got to fire on the central victory point.
Enemy unit down.
And the Pioneer bravely went down.
Supply lines are broken.
And just more stormtroopers out for Zeroshift.
Casualties being reported.
And another Goliath, quite interesting.
We've got the point.
10 points. Not looking good. But again, neither is it for Sommergewitter. He overextended himself a bit there, I think. What he has done so previously. And a bit of quiet again. Stormtroopers getting grenaded, but they dodge it, getting submachine gun, but they actually end up with support from the Stormtroopers, forcing away the Rangers.
We're losing a munitions point.
I got a bad feeling about this, Sarge.
Rather than getting assaulted by the Stormtroopers, bundle grenade flying, stunning. Oh dear, and of course left in front of the assault rifles. And looks like the final charge of the 1st Infantry with its tank destroyer support. That might actually be a 3rd or a 4th platoon. He might actually sort of be nearing. He's actually sort of wasted a company of tank destroyers, if I'm not mistaken. That would be something. And another tank destroyer. Huzzah. But 8 points left. And bunkers being laid down to try and protect those victory points.
105, battery here.
And once more the Panzergrenadier Stormtroopers with 3 armor kills. Tiger arrives as well. More Panzergrenadier. Again doing the job. Tank destroyer out of control.
Down one tank. Enemy unit.
And a Goliath arrives, knocking out another tank destroyer. Looks like a sticky bomb is being attempted on the Tiger. Yes indeed, but too late. Last tank destroyer is out of control.
Crowds have cut forward supply lines.
105 ready.
And this might be it. Even a Panzer IV has arrived from the Panzerlehr to aid support. And there we go. GG. Game over. A victory for the Wehrmacht. Albeit hard fought. And there we go. What can we actually learn from this? I mean, in this case it was sort of a case of too high reliance and too much resources being pumped into exclusively tank destroyers, which got utterly wrecked by Panzergrenadiers. He didn't really try to support them. And that was rather what allowed Zeroshift to constantly ambush them. So that clearly didn't quite work out for him. Of course, also lack of medic stations basically also sort of allowed the German commanders to basically bring him down as well. In particular, once that Tiger tank arrived, that did horrible damage to the American commander. And of course, a lack of mines as well. I mean, it was nice to see him sort of try and funnel the forces into here, and that certainly worked. But I don't think he was quite ready to actually receive that. And he himself in the end was not quite as mobile as he probably could have been. But there you go. I mean, good use of veterancy, good use of mines on both sides. And interesting use of storms. But there you go. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, why not subscribe and tell your friends. And if you didn't, well, why not send a replay of your own. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers.